everyone. I'm Emmanuel. I'm from Hungary, Budapest, and I'm product manager here at Traefik Labs. I'm a home lab enthusiast, Kubernetes administrator. As long as I know Kubernetes, I always loved the technology and the community around it. And I've been using Traefik myself at home too. But Instead of entertaining you with my background, let's say a couple of words about Traefik. So we are an open source company to the core. We were founded in 2015, and right now our Traefik proxy is over 3 billion downloads on Docker Hub. It's among the top 15 Docker image by download count. And today, we also have different products targeting API management and API gateway, not just an application proxy. We can run on any hardware and any virtual environment you can imagine, from on-premises to cloud to hybrid clouds, any Kubernetes distribution, any kind of cloud environments, HashiCorp, Nomad, Docker, Swarm, any orchestrator, you name it. All these tools that you can use from the Traefik portfolio can be managed through Git and through GitOps with the declarative configuration approach. And if you start with an application proxy, the open source proxy you all know, then you can move up to API gateway if you need enterprise level authentication authorization, or HashiCorp Vault integration for secret management, or distributed rate limiting and other distributed features like certificate management and so on. With a simple Helm upgrade using new license key, you can unlock new configuration options on top of what you had already with the open source gateway. And it's an in-place upgrade. We just replaced the binary, and you can use the same configuration with more options now. And if you want even more, you want a developer portal or advanced API governance, API level metrics, and a whole lot of new things, you do simple Helm upgrade with the new license key, and that's it. Now you unlock the API management. And this is a seamless journey that we are really proud of, that when you migrate, it's not even a migration. And with this introduction, I give the mic to Vedran from Treblle.
Hi everyone, my name is Vedran. I'm the founder and CEO of Treblle. At the end of the day, I am an engineer at heart, just like probably many of you here. Spent a decade building APIs. I've got more than 13 years of experience, probably built more than 100 APIs and faced all the possible problems that you guys have every single day. I am passionate about three things: APIs, IPAs, and barbecue. I like to say that sometimes in that same exact order, sometimes depending on the day of the week, maybe in a different order. But generally, I do really, like working with APIs, and have been doing that for the past 10 years. Now, when I think about what are some of the things that we do at Treblle, at its essence, we essentially help organizations figure out their APIs. We've got essentially a suite of products, everything from observability, security, governance, analytics, documentation, cataloging, testing, and of course, AI. It's completely automated and super easy to use. As Emmanuel and I will show you, especially with Traefik, you get a really, really sweet deal where you could get started completely for free and get almost 500,000 requests completely for free. And the best thing about it is it's literally one click like we're about to show you, and the entire product combined with Traefik can cover the entire API lifecycle. So today we're going to focus on API observability. Before we kind of dive into it, just wanted to give you a bit of info about what we kind of offer when it comes to observability. So combined with Traefik, we monitor every single request that happens on your API in real time without any impact on your API. We extract more than 40 different data points and allow you to search and filter based on any of those. Everything from the request data itself, what type of request it is, what's the response code, request headers, request data, response body, absolutely everything. Basically, we help you and your teams to be able to make any API related decision in less than 60 seconds with our core observability product. And we're really excited to show what we've been able to do with Traefik. Manuel, take it away.
Yes, thank you so much. So now we will dive deep in this topic, and let's walk around the API governance and why an API gateway is important and how it connects to API observability. Uh, First of all, as all you know, the API gateway acts as a central piece of infrastructure. It's in the critical path of all requests coming into your infrastructure, let it be on premises, in cloud, whatever. And this is an ingress use case. The coming is incoming from the outside world to your infrastructure. However, as you might know, but maybe not everybody, it can also act as an egress gateway. The API gateway can still serve requests outside of the world when you want to connect to any kind of third-party services that you want to manage the authentication authorization yourself at the central location, or for example, LLMs and AI usage that is a big thing these days. The API gateway can act as an egress gateway too. So at these two places, it controls every traffic and nothing can go around it. So this is why it's very important to configure it right. That means from the security perspective, you need to be aware how you configure it, what you configure it, what authentication authorization methods you want to support. Do you add all the middlewares to your ingresses and audit them? And the best way to do it is to do it declaratively, like how Traefik portfolio does it, to have everything managed by a single source of truth, a Git repository, or even multiple if you want to manage multiple environments at the same time. But the key thing is that all the changes should go through a GitOps flow, PR reviews, multiple people looking at validation, and also by automated checks, what you can catch it early before it reaches production. But when you configured everything right, still the gateway processes all your requests and returns all the responses to your clients, internal or external. So you might want to keep a strong eye on it, a close eye on it, and watch for all the metrics, gateway traces, and logs that it produces, because this is how you can observe different usage patterns, maybe abusive patterns, maybe use it for making better decisions or use it for monetization. So this is something that we will focus on today, the observability part. And recently, we have published a blog series about API governance, and one of the published policies here talk about API governance and the importance of reliability, that you need to monitor and investigate all the traffic coming in and out, and the performance and the quality. And how Traefik Hub helps the API gateway and API management solution produce the most metrics that I'm aware of on the market, over 20 metrics and more than 15 different parameters, dimensions, as we call, to provide a deep drill down into your traffic. And all available through also OpenTelemetry, the new new open standard. And you can do even correlation even with your GitOps and CI/CD pipelines to be able to easily roll back in case an unexpected happens and some malfunction reaches the production environment. You can quickly mitigate the incident by rolling back the last PR that caused, for example, an error spike in your monitoring. And the recent addition, the traffic debugger that we added in collaboration with Treblle, also helps you greatly. And we will deep dive into this piece of new feature, new functionality in a minute. But before we look at it, how it works, let's discuss it. Let's discuss the other parts too, because it can be also important for some. Because maybe you already have a monitoring infrastructure in place, and we provide these metrics through different various formats that you can leverage today. If you already have Prometheus or Datadog in-house, you can export these metrics, of course, using these proprietary formats. But OpenTelemetry, the new open standard on the block, tries to unify getting all these into one format that contains metrics, traces, logs, and also profiling in the future. Currently, this specification in work in progress within the community, but logs, shipping logs will also be available in Traefik in a new release shortly as an experimental feature, but metrics and traces are fully functional, fully production ready. You can use them even today. But when you want to use these, you need the API gateway, of course, at the central location. It produces the metrics, it produces the traces that you need to collect, for example, using the OpenTelemetry collector. Then you want to move these metrics to a short-term storage, like Prometheus can ingest, for example, OpenTelemetry metrics in the recent release, but natively without an experimental feature flag. So you have these metrics in the short-term storage. You want to visualize them. You may use Grafana or some other tool to do dashboarding. But you want to compact these metrics because it's probably high cardinality, really high visibility and high metrics amount exist for a given time period, and you want to compact these before moving them to a long-term storage like Cortex or Thanos, for example. And then you also want to connect this long-term storage with the dashboard because maybe you want to analyze your history, and then you want to back this storage regularly, back it up, not to lose anything in case something goes wrong. So as you can see, it goes a long way which pieces you need to manage. It takes a lot of time and effort, and maybe if you purchase them separately, it takes also a lot of money. But of course, this is the standard way of doing things. This is also has its own merits and why it's good, and so people use it today. But we will show you another alternative way that you can leverage for easy integration and easy observability over API traffic with Treblle. Because now what you can do is connect Traffic Hub with Treblle, and that's it. You just configure a plugin, and that's it. You don't need to do anything else. No other things to manage. Everything is handled for you. So this is what we call API observability as a service. Before we move on to let's see it in details, how this integration works, let's recap on the benefits of API observability that Vedran mentioned. Of course, when you spend less time troubleshooting and more time building quality code, that means you move faster, you can leverage your additional gain time over competition. Of course, this means as well that you can improve your internal communication between teams, that now everything is visible and transparent, and they can make better informed decisions. It's not the infrastructure team who knows all these metrics, but also your developers can have access to it if you want. And also, this proactive problem solving can translate to a lot of business benefits by leveraging the efficiency. For example, your customer experience can improve, your revenue can increase, because now you can make other decisions that was not possible before. You can also reduce the operational cost because you can, for example, share or expose the same amount of API traffic on smaller infrastructure, or on the same infrastructure size, you can serve more requests. And we could go on and on about all the costs that you can spare by not maintaining effort and resources to a standard monitoring infrastructure. For the traffic debugger itself that we provide, the benefits are more than just what's listed, but of course these are the highlights. To me, as a technical background person, it's really interesting to have serverless logging enabled without maintaining an infrastructure, but also for the high level, like the CSO people, for the security perspective, it can be really beneficial that you can mask the data on the gateway itself before it reaches the hosted platforms. So that means you can be safe on the GDPR or other compliance side. Also, now that you get insights and the seamless integration, you can keep a lot of time to focus on the things that matter. And this is, I can tell, is just the start for us, because we are working on another lots of new features that will come in the future, even more capabilities integrated right within Hub, and our collaboration is just starting. But how you can get access to these features? You simply log into the Traefik Hub dashboard, enter your API key and project ID that you want to connect on the Treblle side, or if you don't have an account yet, you can one-click register a new account. I will quickly show it in the demo as well. And then you configure the Traefik plugin on the gateway itself, and boom, that's it. You can see the requests and the response data showing up right within the Hub dashboard. And now, Vedran, if you want to say a couple of words about the integration from your side.
Thank you so far. Really great content. Learned a lot myself. But before we dive into the demo and Emmanuel shows you how exactly all of this works, I just want to briefly touch on basically one thing that both the teams at Treblle and Traefik aligned immediately was the ease of use and the simplicity of use. So basically, for us, even though in the background we're doing a lot of different things to make this experience as seamless as possible for you guys, it's just literally a few clicks natively in the Traefik gateway itself. So you don't have to leave Traefik, you don't have to do anything. You're gonna get observability just by clicking on a couple of buttons out of the box without having to worry about anything. That's the level of detail and the amount of time we spent on both sides to deliver this is really incredible. I think many of you will see that happen. Also, like Emmanuel said, we're doing a lot more and a lot of different things to basically make it even more seamless in the future, especially with some other products. So what you're gonna see in Emmanuel's demo is just an amazing experience of you using Traefik and simply enabling Treblle and getting all the power of API observability, API security, governance, and a lot of different tools directly within your gateway. Again, couldn't be simpler, and I couldn't be happier for this integration myself. So kick it away, Emmanuel. Let's show him all where the money is, if you will.
Okay, so demo time. Let's start. So what I will show you is running on my laptop. It was recorded a couple of days before. I'm starting with an empty Kubernetes cluster running locally. There is nothing installed, so I start from really scratch to show you how smooth it is even to start your journey with Traefik Hub. You go on to the dashboard, name your gateway however you like. You can enable a couple of features, copy the integration installation code, and that's it. Simple Helm install, and now your gateway should be up and running, and here it is. So it's connected to the platform, and now we want to look at the application we will deploy. I create a namespace for the demo application. It will serve a simple JSON as JSON server to provide an API for us. It will be using a small deployment to serve these and the service to expose it internally. An open API spec is also included, but it will not be used today. But here are some Traefik middlewares stripping the prefix of the pass just to show some action. Also added a rate limit to be able to see some different response codes, status codes if I make too many requests. And also here is our ingress route. But I'm using today an ingress route, but Traefik Hub can also work along with the Kubernetes native ingress, which is a resource that is currently frozen, and the Kubernetes community is moving towards the Gateway API resource that we fully support. We are on the latest production-ready version, so you can also use that. But here I'm using the Traefik native ingress route that was created originally to overcome the shortcomings of the ingress resource. So what I do is expose this on my local host and expose this service and also apply the two middlewares that I showed. So currently there are no Treblle middleware included. I apply it to the cluster, everything should be running, and I run a couple of curl commands just to show you that this service is responding. Here is a 200 OK response. I get back the weather at Gopher Rocks. There is also a method not allowed because the service does not allow post requests. But if I make more and more requests, I can get also rate limited, and that's it. Basically, what we did here had no traces anywhere else, maybe in the access log locally, but it was not exported anywhere else. So it's currently not visible historically to any of your teams, any of your development teams. So what I will do now is I will enable the Traefik plugin in Traefik Hub. I also adjust the little file group and security settings to let Traefik gateway download and run the plugin. It's applied through a Helm upgrade. I'm reusing even the values from the previous deployment, so everything stays the same. It's just an additional feature that is now applied. And if I make a diff between the new resource that I will apply shortly, here you can see the new middleware, the Treblle middleware with the plugin configuration. I configured an API key, a project ID, and some fields to mask, but also there are other possibilities like mask some routes that will not show up in your logs at all. And then also this middleware is applied to the middleware chain. And since I'm applying at the first location, it will get the request as it is without, for example, stripping the prefix, but it will also see the rate limiting in action, the status code. So if any terminal middleware or middleware failure happens, it's best to have Treblle higher up the chain. If you apply this resource to the cluster, that means the plugin is configured. So let's do that. Everything stays the same, only the middleware applied and configured. And if we go here on the Traefik debugger, nothing is here yet. I need to configure it. Here you will have the option to either register a new account or use an existing one. Here is the one-click registration I mentioned. You will get instantly the API key and project ID from Treblle that you can add to your middleware configuration. But since I already have an account, I will demonstrate that I can also use that if you are already a Treblle customer. So let's configure these and select the gateway that will be connected. And now on the UI, you can see that I've run some previous requests 8 minutes ago. So let's generate a couple more requests to show you the real-time value that every request that you will make is there in a moment. So let's run the same curl commands, something successful, something not. It also uses some test token for bearer authentication that we will see that will be masked because I wanted the authorization header to be masked. And if I refresh the UI, here it is, 4 seconds ago, 8 seconds ago, and so on. There are the requests that we have just made. All the rate limits show up, and you can see the details of these requests, what was the parameter I sent, what were in the headers. You can see that the headers are masked, that I didn't want to show up here. And of course, if it have been a different request, like if it would have a response data, for example, it could also show up, and what are the response header. Here you can see also some metrics that will show up, and some assessment on the security settings that this API is assessed by Treblle, but also you can get a real wide filtering mix that you want to see. You can search for any kind of request, any kind of combination. We support a lot of lots of them, and of course this is basically what we have today. But lots of things coming. I can sneak peek even that we are planning to add some more widgets, some more insights on the location, and so on. So many things will come. And if it lets me switch, we also have one more thing, because this webinar is about API observability, but we found that maybe API discoverability is also close to observability. Discoverability means that when you have APIs and when you add them to your developer portal, how quickly your developers or your partners can get up to speed and start to use your APIs. And for that, Treblle has a special thing, a new integration that we have just added to our developer portal. Maybe if you want to say about something, Vedran, please.
Yeah, of course. So essentially, this is something new that we've been working with, and like both Emmanuel and I mentioned at the beginning, I think observability as a service and the things that you could do right now in Traefik are only the beginning, and you can expect a lot of different things from us in the future. The first thing that we're essentially bringing to again Traefik natively is Alfred, our AI assistant. And I know a lot of you have probably, everybody's probably heard a lot about AI, but trust me, this one is really, really useful. So what Alfred can actually do is it can understand any documentation for any API in the world without actually needing any pre-training. So the way that it works in Traefik, you're going to get the developer portal that you get with the gateway. And on there, what Emmanuel is going to show you is we're going to have this little guy called Alfred. He'll understand the underlying documentation, and he'll actually be able to generate code, data models, test scripts. You'll actually be able to communicate with Alfred, and he'll have perfect understanding of basically how your API looks like today. You'll be able to ask him questions about security, about design, about best practices. But like I said, I think most importantly, one thing that you'll see an immediate benefit is if you need to integrate a particular API, you can just share them the link to the Traefik hub with the documentation, and using Alfred, they can basically go from not even having to read documentation to get production ready code specifically for that API. So Emmanuel, take it away.
Yeah, so let's see how it works. So here I'm showing our developer portal with minimal configuration. I have a simple API showing the OpenAPI specification. And basically, this is one of the key things that power Alfred. So it knows everything about your APIs because it has access to the OpenAPI specification. And here you can see the view panels that you can have if you run API management with the portal, and you can access different methods and different URL paths, and of course you can try these APIs in place, but here in the corner you can see this floating button, Alfred, and when I click it was enabled and trained on this API specification, so it can answer you, for example, here, how to integrate this API in Next.js. And it shows you the starter code. It can also discuss different things, like a different level of detail you want to get, like follow-up questions, and it knows the context as well. So for example, here I say that, okay, it's nice that you gave me for Next.js, but give me this same for Go, and it just generates. And also, this means that if you have, for example, junior developers, they can really ramp up fast, and your seniors basically can answer the meaningful questions only after Alfred discussed with the basic starter things, for example. Or if you are starting a new project with a new framework or something, it can really take you up to speed. And just to demonstrate that Alfred knows the context, here this API does not have any kind of delete operation. So I ask Alfred about how can I delete something, and it replies, no, you cannot delete anything. So it really does not hallucinate that you can delete something that you don't.
Just,
And,
just to add on top of that, we've made sure that there are as minimum hallucinations as possible, because again, we feed Alfred only the small data set that it needs to provide answers on, so it can't actually go out and make stuff out. It's very precise, it's very tuned to what somebody who's integrating the API needs to do. And I think you'll see that from some of the presets that we have, like basically generating data models, generating entire SDKs. So imagine, like I said, somebody else building an API on your team, and you need to integrate that maybe with, I don't know, let's say Rust or something that you're not that familiar with. You could actually get started directly with the Traefik gateway and get that production ready code there.
yes. So this concludes what we wanted to show you today.